And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use diminished arpeggios over functioning dominant chords to spice up your blues. Right now what we're going to do, it's a 12-bar blues that we have going on here in the key of G. If you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. The next level in the blues, I would say, to kind of add a little spice to your blues up a little bit. The first thing I would say, what I'm doing is I'm playing a straight 12-bar blues, and you know, I'm playing the pentatonic scale in here. I mean, adding the blue note in there too, like. So it's a blues scale. And a lot of people play that over a blues like this, which is the G7 chord. So it's, you know, it's just a mixture of the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, and just blend them together. It's a hybrid scale. Just call it a hybrid, so it's really a major minor pentatonic. But if you want to add like an outside spicy note to this, what I'm doing is before I go to the 4 chord, I'm playing a G sharp diminished chord. So it's really a chord like that into the C. A G sharp diminished chord is really the same thing as a G dominant chord, and all you're doing is, well, here's a G dominant chord. You're just adding, you're throwing away the G and you're adding a G sharp. It's the same, the rest of the notes are the same. Like in G7 chord, you have a G, you have the F, then the B, and the D. You just add the G sharp instead. So that's the G diminished. Just my fingers, I'm switching my fingering. We can go like that, or like this. So on that 4th bar, I'm just adding a lick from G sharp diminished. So, you know, for the first 3 bars, I'll go 1, 2, 3. Then the 4, I'll go. That's the major third of C. So really, really cool trick right there. And to stepping up into the 4 chord, just playing that. Or you could just hit the root note, whatever you want right there. But really, an easy way to look at it, when you see that G7 chord, you're just adding a G sharp to it, and it makes it sound kind of like this, like a G7 flat 9 chord, which is kind of like this. That chord right there. See how nice that goes into a C chord? Just like that. So really, that's it. And it's a nice lick right here, right here. So really, the G7 flat 9 is the same thing as the G sharp diminished right there. Because that's really what all it is right there. Here's the diminished arpeggio. Just like that. So any questions about this stuff, let me know. You're playing a G7 chord right here. So on that fourth bar, you could do a G sharp arpeggio, which is like into that C chord. And it's really easy. The shape is really easy too for a G sharp arpeggio. Check it out. All these diminished arpeggios, they're all just minor thirds up from each other. So if you can go this, minor third, to the B string, then here. Now watch this, minor third, minor third, minor third. You have to skip a string because of the B. I mean skip a fret because of the B, and then go up a whole fret. Really from the G, the fourth bar, the G sharp, diminish. Right there. So it blends right into that C nicely. Then from the C chord, there's another one where you just go from C to C sharp, diminished, back to the 1. I'll just show you what this sounds like over just the 1 chord switching to the 4, where I did a lick that was like. Check it out. See what I mean right there? Over that fourth beat, the fourth beat, I went right to the third of G. That's why I played the third of G. I played the fifth. I played the seventh. Then I played what would be the sharp, the flat 9, which is that note, G sharp. But all that really is also, if I dropped out the G flat, G sharp down here, the chord tones of G7, the third, fifth, 7. So that makes it kind of like just a flat 9 chord, just like this. You get that sound. Back to the C. You could also just hit the G sharp right off the top, which gives you that shape, that diminished arpeggio shape. To the C. But I left it out. I started right on the third, because you could start on any one of these 4 notes. You could start here. Any one of those goes into it. To C. Down here. Or this one. Or the start on the 7th. Taking the arpeggio on the 4th beat, you're going to step out of G for a second. I guess essentially throw away the G note, or exchange it, or replace it, or substitute it with a G sharp. Then you have all the same notes as the arpeggio. So you got to know that one. It's a pretty good idea to know the G dominant arpeggio, G7 arpeggio. 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, root. That'll go into C as well. I did that. But doesn't it sound a little bit more better to go like it's a little bit more a little more tension in there. So you can start anywhere with those. So it's the same scale. Only I'm exchanging the G for the G sharp. It's a diminished arpeggio. Same note as the G arpeggio. Except I'm going up the G sharp. G sharp, 3rd, 5th, 7th, G sharp, 3rd, 5th, 7th, G sharp. It's all the chord tones of G, but the G is G sharp now. Or you could think of it a whole different way by not even thinking of the G chord and just thinking of just the G sharp arpeggio. But it's kind of good to look at them both ways to really see what it's doing to the G. See what this diminished chord. Because I can see what it's doing right here. I can see that because really G is on the bottom. If you think about it, the band is still playing G. So it's always good to know what your next chord is doing to G. And look, if the band's going G, you're now hitting this chord. That's the tension right there that you have. So you're playing G sharp flat 9 right there, which goes nicely into a C. So it's kind of like, jazz harmony. It's a little bit of jazz in there. It's not a bad thing learning a little bit of jazz theory to get you into the blues and to expand the blues a little bit. G Mixolydian. Mixolydian mode is just the major scale with a flat 7. So instead of going, you can go flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fits perfectly with the arpeggio as well. It's a nice dominant scale. It leads you to the next chord. And that's the whole idea, is that this G7 chord, a dominant chord, the whole idea of it is it wants to pull you to this next chord. Into the C chord, to the next one. And then from there, C, you could play another diminished chord, which would be the C sharp, just going up. So it's the same concept. You're just taking the C7 chord. Now you have a C sharp diminished chord. Looks just like this. So here's a C7, the C, the 5th, the 7th, and the 3rd. Now if you just take your finger and put it a half step higher, C sharp, with the same rest of the chords, you have a C sharp diminished chord. Back to the G. This one functions a little bit differently because you're going back to the 1 chord. You're not playing a 5 to a 1, which is essentially what that is as well. So you got that sound where it's like you hit the 4 chord. So you're doing that on the 5th bar, 5, 6th bar, 7th bar, 8. Then you go to the 5 chord. Then you have your turnaround here. Then you have one last diminished, doing the same thing over the D chord, which is 5. Because that 5 lands back to the 1 right here. So you want to do the same type of thing. I mean, this chord on its own goes nicely to it. It's a 7 dominant chord. Mixolydian mode if you want. Goes right back to G. D Mixolydian. Or you do the same thing. You could play the diminished scale or diminished arpeggio. You're just taking the same chord right here. Take the D and go up one. So that sounds right there. Or is it diminished chord? You'll find them all over the place. You find the best ones that work for you. And come up with different licks like that. Over the 5, while it's playing a D chord is playing, you can go back to the G. You have to really understand the blues harmony here. And really all that is just 3 chords. You have the 1 chord, it's a 7th chord. That's just the G major chord, but make it a 7th. And you go into a C. It's all wide open right here, you know. Just play G pentatonic. And have fun with it, you know, just back to the C. And then you get a turnaround. And the turnaround is just on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, the last 2 bars. So you're essentially just going G, G7, 4 chord, C. Then you have another diminished that we already played. That's C sharp diminished, back to the 1. Or to the 5 actually. So you got 1 7th, which is G7, C, C sharp diminished, and then D, the 5 chord. Which that 5 chord wants to pull you back to the 1, right? So that's where you could put that other diminished chord. Stuff like that. So really the most important thing is to make it sound bluesy. I mean, that's the whole idea. It's the blues. It doesn't need to be like technical and too jazzy. You still want to get this sound. That's why the pentatonic is so important and so good, because it gives you that sound. Without that, you have no blues, you know? When you have the diminished chord, this is the G7, look, G7. With a G sharp, makes it G sharp diminished. You could take the same shape right here, move it up a minor third, minor third, minor third. Let's check it out. So it's the same chord, just different starting points. So any type of diminished shape that you have, when I did this one right here, same thing up, every 3 notes. And it's still gonna function into the next chord. Really, really cool. So then you go up to this next position right here, because it's good to learn it in a few different positions. Pentatonic position 4. You know? Here's the 1 chord now, or G. So when I have that G sharp diminished, that's all I'm doing right there. Just going up from the G sharp, to the C. So you could do the same type of lick right here. Play this diminished lick into the C. So you have the G chord. To the C. Or to the C right there. C G. 5 chord, 4 chord, back to the C, back to the 1, the G chord. And then I'm up here, and I do the same thing as you did down here, but in this position. Little lick. C, C sharp, the G. 5 chord, to the C, the 4 chord, and then turn around. So that's just the shape right there. But I do have a guitar course called the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar, where we talk about 4 different subjects. Fretboard memorization, where you can easily notice all the frets, all the notes all over the neck. Do the circle of fifths, where you could easily learn how to transfer everything you know into all the different keys. It's really cool. Blues soloing, and where we get into different chord progressions, much like we're doing now, different scales that you could use. And there's all kinds of backing tracks and PDFs on that. And then we get into the cage system, where we learn all the shapes across the neck in relations to 2-5-1 progressions. So check that out. There's a link in the description. I would appreciate that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me here today. You are amazing for sure. I love you. Remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video on the 5 steps to becoming a better blues guitar player, which is really a good video, put that right up there. I love yous, and I'll see you then. Peace. Have a great week. Happy Labor Day. Take it easy today, all right? Be cool.